Realistic expectations. Let's talk about that. What's up, ladies and gents in Cyberland? So, we are on today's topic, realistic expectations. So, your loan just got approved, and you're looking to purchase a home. And let's say, for example, for this one, your price point is $650,000. That's a pretty good loan amount. That's definitely going to get you into a home. However, what you need to understand in regards to purchasing a home, that regardless of the price point, your home is going to come with a lot of the bells and whistles that you're looking for. However, there's a slight chance that the home may not have something that you want, or it may not have something to your liking, such as the front yard's not big enough, or the backyard's not big enough, or it doesn't have a pool, or it's in a great neighborhood, but the rooms aren't as big as you want them to be, or the kitchen is the size you want, but the color of the house is not the color you want it to be, or the floors aren't what you want it to be, but you have the pool and the yard's big enough. You see where I'm going with this? It's a give and take. You have multiple things that you like about the home, but you have a few things you don't like about the home. Now, the one thing that every person that I work with who's trying to purchase a home is I always tell them, first of all, I don't lie to them. I don't sugarcoat. I tell them, I ask them, what is it that you like about the home? And what is it that you don't so much like about the home? And they list their pros and the cons. And then I tell them, out of the cons, are those more of a cosmetic thing? Meaning, is that more of something that can be taken care of later, like the kitchen can be improved on, or the floors can be improved on? Is it something in regards to a paint job? What exactly are the cons? And I tell them that that's perfectly fine to have the standard that you're set, meaning you want the house to have these certain elements. But also I have to tell them to keep in mind realistic expectations of what you're going to get in the market, depending on your budget and what you're looking for. Because, let's just be honest. Every man and woman who are a couple that I have dealt with, whether they have children or not, their goal is to be in a nice neighborhood, which is what everybody wants. The other thing is that they don't want to more so live near maybe an area that's too busy, meaning there's cars coming through on a regular basis. They'd rather be in the cut in the neighborhood, not on the outward part where traffic's coming by multiple times. Some people can deal with it, but in my experience, most people prefer not to have that. The other thing is that they also want to be in a neighborhood that has good schools, meaning good education. So if they're going to move there and they don't have kids, they would like to at some point have children and have that available to them. Or they have kids and they want to make sure their kids are able to get into a good school. So with that being said, they already have good neighborhood, good schools, and not an area that has too much traffic. Okay, not a problem. However, the homes that we've seen so far, hypothetically, the square footage is not big enough, or the home doesn't have a pool, or the floors need to be redone. There's some cosmetic issues. So at that point, we go over it and we kind of have a discussion about, okay, what's most important to you? What are the most important things of your top 10 of what is your bells and whistles that you need to have that you can't do without? And what about the things that you are not going to get right now, but maybe you can get them later? And that's the one thing you have to keep in perspective when you're working with somebody, or as I've worked with clients, because at the end of the day, let's say, for example, the home has cosmetic issues, but it's in the neighborhood and the school that you want. What's more important? something that you can do later, or something that, you need to have now. The other thing that I also try to instill in clients that I work with is what your money can get you. That's the other thing. Because unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society. Not unfortunately, but we live in a capitalistic society. And when it comes to home ownership, people are going to go for the homes that have all the bells and whistles, and they don't necessarily have to pay as much to get that, because time is money, and people are trying to hold on as much money as they can. So with that being said, there's a lot more competition. And at that point, you have to understand that if your expectations are too high for the amount of money that you are willing to purchase a home, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to be able to get into the home that's going to be great for you and your family. Because it's one of those things where if all you're looking at is $1 million homes and you don't qualify for $1 million homes, well, your expectations are going to be so set high for that mindset, but then what you can get doesn't equate, and then it's discouraging, or it's going to be a situation where you feel like, well, I'm just going to wait. Now, I'm going to share with you an experience that I learned with the home that I have now. And I'm glad that I got it very shortly, but now it's reinforced with me now that I'm a realtor. When I purchased this home, it wasn't the home I really wanted. It wasn't the home that I felt was going to work for me. Not knowing, because I had a young mind and I didn't own a home. I had this expectation that my home was supposed to be like what I saw in the media or what I've seen family members have. Of course, not knowing at the time that all my family members, whether it was my grandparents, my mother, my aunts or uncles, that wasn't their first home. When the home that I would stop by when I would see them, that's not their first home. Matter of fact, for some of them, that wasn't even their third home. Some of them, it was like that was their sixth home. 6! So you see where I'm going with this? So the first home they moved into when I was a baby, per se, wasn't the home they ended up with as of now. So the beautifulness, the floors, the colors, the way the homes look immaculate, that's not where they started. See what I'm saying? And when I got into my home, I had to gradually start to realize that first of all, my house is a fixer-upper. And I had to understand that this wasn't going to be my home for the rest of my life. It was a stepping stone. It was going to be like, you utilize this and you build up with it, and then you use it to get into something better. Did it have most of the bells and whistles I was looking for? For the most part, yes, but there have been some things that I've had to put in to make it more workable for me and my family. And that's just the reality with anything purchasing a home. There's one client that I've worked with, and their home was immaculate. Gorgeous, beautiful home. But there was a few little things here and there that didn't make it 100% perfect. And am I saying every home is supposed to be 100% perfect? Some people say yes, I say no, and I only say that because we're not perfect human beings. So if you think about it in a long sense, we're not perfect already, but you expect somebody to perfectly build a home? No, there's going to be something. There's always going to be something. Maybe the color's not there, or it's this, or it's that. And then you also got to remember that our minds, our opinions of where we live, or our opinions of what we have, our tastes change as we get older. It's never the same. Some things do stay the same, like, I listen to rock music. That's never going to change. That's always been my forte. But I maybe don't more so watch certain type of films, or I don't more so go to these type of atmospheres, or I don't more so eat this type of food anymore. Not because I can't. It's just my taste has changed. And that's what you have to understand when you're purchasing a home. You have to keep in mind to have realistic expectations that your budget's only going to cover so much, but understand that it's a stepping stone too. Most people that move into their home don't necessarily stay in that home. See what I'm saying? Most people they normally get into a second or third home. And once they get to maybe the second or third, that home has pretty much everything that they need, and then that's it. And then the other thing, keep this in mind. Over time, some people actually start to downsize. Meaning when they first started, they had the 3-bedroom or the 2-bedroom. Then they shot up to the 5-bedroom. And now that, and of course the 5-bedroom was mostly because they had kids and stuff. But now the kids are at the house. They've gotten older. Like, I don't need all this space. And then they downsize back down to a 2 or 3-bedroom house. Go figure, right? But that does happen. Now, am I saying don't go for the 5-bedroom, the 6-bedroom, or the 8-bedroom house? No. I'm just saying that realistically, when you start out, you're going to have a certain type of loan, and it's going to be for a certain type of home. And if it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you're looking for, realistically, look at, out of all those things, those 10 things that you need to have, which ones are the most important, and which ones can you do without for the time being. And try to find a medium balance, because at the end of the day, the things that you don't, that necessarily are not, you have to have at that moment, they'll come later. They always do. They always come later. And, you know, when I got my home, it took me a little time to figure that out, that it always comes. It may not come right when you want it to, but it always shows up right on time. Lastly, now, and this is for the people that may feel a little indifferent about that, I'm going to say, because of my experience being a homeowner, look, I'm not saying just settle for anything, but what I'm saying is, realistically, think about it. You could be giving your money to somebody else every month, or you could be giving that money to yourself. And what I mean by giving that money to yourself is you're putting money into your home, your property. Whereas, you know, you're giving $2,800, $3,000 sometimes money for rent. In the long run, putting that $2,800, that $3,000 into the home that maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles is going to serve you, not only for you, but your children as well in the long run. Whether it's utilizing that to take out the equity and buy another home, or utilize what the home is worth to get into your bigger home. You really want to think about that too. Because some people, unfortunately, have the mindset where, well, if it doesn't have everything I want, I'm not getting a home. And unfortunately, when you don't get the home, people are still buying and selling. And the market just continues to get, you know, it goes like this. There's to where there's slow inventory, and then there's somewhat inventory. Then it's low, then it goes just up and down. And it's better to get into owning a home sooner. Let's say, for example, owning your home at 25, if you can, as opposed to owning your home at 40. It's better to get into the game as quickly as possible than way later, just because you want the home to have all the bells and whistles. And again, everybody's different, but that's something that I learned being a homeowner after my first 2 years. I realized that. And then it's more so prevalent now being a realtor. So if you have any questions or any concerns, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call. And with that, I will see you on the next one. Take care.